Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing my May wrap up. So, as many of you know, in the month of May, it was the May the Force Read With You readathon, and I read this whole pile of books for the readathon. I only made it through 4 of them before May was finished, so this one I actually finished today. So it doesn't exactly count towards that readathon, but I got 4 books done, so that's exciting. I feel like each month I just go down more. I expect I'm gonna read 5 or 6. I read 5. I expect I'm gonna read 4 or 5. I read 4. And so who knows for June? Although I put some graphic novels on my June TBR, so I feel like it's gonna be a little bit better because I got some easy reads in there. But anyways, so today I'm just gonna talk about the books that I read in May and what I thought of them. So let's just jump right into it. The first one I read was Buried Cold Case Secrets, and this was a 2-star for me. I thought that maybe it would be a fun one, and maybe they would get some good thriller aspects to it, because this is by Harlequin, so it's a romance book, but this is like romance suspense version, so like there's supposed to be some scary parts to it. But overall, I just found the characters very like dull, I guess, and all of the decisions they were making made no sense and they were very repetitive. It was like the main character kept saying the same thing over and over again for reasons why she like couldn't be with this person or couldn't do this thing, and she like kept giving the same reasons. And I was like, okay, you've already put it in my head, like I know what the reason is. You don't have to tell me 50 times. And then at the same time, people are like after this one person over and over again, continually trying to get to them. And they're like, oh, let's just leave them alone. It's fine. It's fine. No, like, I don't know. I was lost for words at how stupid some of these characters were. It really bugged me. So that's why this book is a 2-star. It's not a 1-star because it was like very easy to read. Like it flowed really quickly, but the plot just, no, there was no plot. It was brutal. And there's supposed to be like a big twist, but I figured out the twist maybe in like the first 30 to 50 pages. So then when it was revealed, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, lame. So, yeah, I would not suggest this one, but I mean, you can if you want like a very easy one to read, but yeah, probably not the most amazing book. Then next up, I have We Are Okay. So this was another pretty fast read because it's like a shorter book. And I think for this one, I would give this probably like a 3.5. I will say it was very beautifully written and there were lots of hard hitting moments for this one, but not a lot happened in the book. It takes place over the span of a Christmas break and deals with a girl who is trying to escape her past. So she goes off to school, kind of just like cuts ties and just leaves. And then it's her friend coming to visit her on this Christmas break, and they kind of like dive into all the stuff that happened before she left and kind of like hash that out together and see what the future is going to hold. And yeah, it was very beautifully written, but there was not much happening. And I need to have like a lot of action, or not even necessarily action. I just need to have a lot of plot happening. So without all that plot, it just kind of brought it down a little bit for me. But I did like, I've read other books by this author, and I continually say their writing is very beautiful. It's like a poetic style of writing. So I do really enjoy that, and I would definitely read more by them. I just think that this one was not necessarily my cup of tea, but I still did moderately enjoy it. So then I read A Master of Jinn, and this was for the Phase and Gaze book club. I think for this one I gave it a 3.5, but would rate it up to a 4-star if I was rating it on like Goodreads or something. So this one is following a main character that's a detective for like the Ministry of Magic in this world. And so I did enjoy this one. I had a good time with the whole plot, and it was kind of like a murder mystery style. So The detective was trying to solve this murder that happens at the beginning of the book, and there are like magical elements to it. There's a lot of like deep dive into jinn and different types of jinn, and so I thought that was really cool. Like I really enjoyed learning about the magical creatures part of it. I will say that a big portion of this book dives into like the historical parts of like where they are, and I'm not a big historical fiction fan, so like that is kind of what brought it down for me. But the ending of this book was very action packed, and I really enjoyed. There's a side character in this book that comes in fairly early that I do really like, and they are like in the book throughout, and they're just awesome. I love them. So I did really enjoy having them in it. I would also read more by this author because I found that this book was captivating in itself. There were like definitely parts that pulled me in, and then there were parts that was slogged. But overall, like the story was brought together very well, and I thought that it was really fun to kind of like follow along with this murder mystery style like magical investigation and try and like piece it together. And there's some cool elements in this book that I thought were a fun twist. I'm not going to give anything away, but I definitely think that a lot of people that like historical fiction mixed with fantasy, you would like this one. Then the next book I read was The Haunting of Lei Harker, and this was part of a Once Upon a Book Club book box. Now, I do have a separate video for that is kind of like a reading vlog style because I got to open like different gifts as I went through reading this book. You also might hear the cat eating right now because they, of course, decide to do that as soon as I start filming. Anyways, so I'll do like a brief summary of this book, but it was so good. I loved this book. Like I gave this book 5 stars, and immediately after finishing this book, I went on Goodreads and added a whole bunch of the other books by this author to my want to read list, and also added them on my Amazon wish list because I need more. I need more. This was so good. There are like slower parts in this book, but it's put so well together that like every piece is like vital information. And I just had such a good time with this one. So essentially, this is about a woman named Lei who is in her home when she feels like her home has started to be like haunted. Now she's lived in this home for like years. I think she's rented it for a certain amount of time and then she purchased it. So she's been in it, I think it's like 10 years or something like that. And so after 10 years, her house starts to get haunted. And so she's like, what's going on? Why is my house only starting to get haunted now? I've been here for 10 years. And so it's kind of like her trying to figure out why these hauntings are happening in her house and go from there. Now, there are so many like twists in this book that I did not see coming. So when they were revealed, it was huge. I was blown away. I was blown away. And there are definitely like so many creepy vibes that you get when reading this book that were awesome. Like I love feeling creeped out. And so I was like, oh, it was like chilled to the bone. Awesome. So I definitely want to read more by her because this one just like, I'm still thinking about this book and I'm already done it, but like that's a good sign that I'm still thinking about this book. It left like a mark on me and now I need more. I want to read more books like this because it was such a fun investigation. I don't even know, like it's not necessarily like an adventure, but it was fun following along with this character trying to figure out what is going on. So yeah, I did really enjoy this one. And if you want to know more, you can watch my reading vlog, which will be coming out eventually. I don't know when it's coming out yet. I still have to edit all the footage and stuff, but it will be out. And then the last one is Homeworld, and this is by Philip Ginn. So this is actually one of my patrons, which is really cool. I just finished this one today. I didn't complete it fully in May. I did start it in May, but I didn't finish it in May. And so, yeah, I'm just throwing it on here now to share about it. So this is the first book in a trilogy. I believe the next 2 are set to come out in later of 2022. So this is following a girl named Abigail who, at the beginning of the book, kind of discovers that she has these abilities, and so she then uses these abilities to move forward in helping the government with like space exploration and other things like that. So it's her kind of like going through figuring out her new powers. There's also like another perspective that you get. So it's not just Abigail, but like another perspective on a different planet even. And so you get to like learn about them at the same time that you're learning about Abigail. I will say that this book probably, it's marketed for like YA, but I would say it's more age ranged for like the lower YA, just because a lot of the interactions seemed very like surface level, and a lot of different things seemed like too easy, if that makes sense. There was conflict in the book, but a lot of the conflicts are just like resolved like lickety split. And so that I kind of wanted more depth into the conflicts, and I wanted to like kind of feel more attached to the characters, because most of the characters I didn't really feel an attachment to. That being said, the journey that the characters go on is very interesting, and I like to see the different dynamics that are at play. So, for example, one of the things that's in this book is that there is like a big concern about our world and what we're doing to it. And so it's kind of like a big thing about conservation, keeping like our oceans safe, reducing like all our gas emissions and stuff like that. So there's a big focus on that, which is really cool. Like I like that they're trying to portray like saving our world, and it's a very big part of the book. So that's awesome. Like it's really cool that they're adding that into there. So yeah, that was a fun thing about the book, and I did enjoy like the space parts to it as well. I just think that there could have been more depth to the conflicts and the characters. That was like the one thing that like kept like gnawing at me as I was reading it. So I think I would rate this one a 3 out of 5. It was like a decent book, and I'd leave it at that. And those are all the books that I read in May. So let me know if you've read any of those books. Let me know if you have read Darcy Coates, because I want to know of other books like The Haunting of Lei Harker that I should pick up. It was phenomenal. I need more like that. Hopefully I can read more books in June. I do have more books on my TBR. I always am a little ambitious, but we'll see what happens. I'm crossing my fingers that I can get through all of that. Anyways, if you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Coffee page, which I'll put in the description down below, as well as linked by my bookmarks. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post new videos. I post my videos on Mondays and Thursdays. And until next time, keep on reading.